I'm Ansh. I'm an old student of LC and currently I'm in first year studying microbiology at Mithibai College. My interests include going to the gym, boxing, Muay Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu, and also reading books on motivation and self-improvement.
Perfect. So, what got you into microbiology in the first place?
So, being frank with you, it was actually my NEET result.
That's all right.
And secondly, I had the curiosity to study about cancer, and I had got my seat in Mithibai College, which is the only college in Mumbai that allows research work in during your undergrad, and not like other colleges where you have to first complete your undergrad, then you are allowed to do some research. So over there, the first years are allowed to do some research, and hence I chose microbiology.
Perfect. So, again, now that you mentioned that you were a former student of Learners Club, is there anything particular with Learners Club and whatever your experience has been that has been useful to you currently?
Yes, time management was one of the skills which I had learned from LC, and it has helped me uh, most of the times during my 10th, during my 12th, and right now also.
So, coming to concepts, so like microbiology as a whole, people would think it's very biology based. I would argue that there is a good chunk of chemistry in it as well, isn't it?
Correct. Biomolecules is one whole chapter that you have to learn when you are doing microbiology.
Right. So, this idea of multidisciplinary learning, I'm
Hmm.
sure you have heard this term around, right?
I have heard this.
So, what are your takes on it? Should studies or education at especially the college level be naturally multidisciplinary as a whole?
Yes, because it helps you to balance your time and you balance the concepts which you are studying. Uh, and you can understand a specific concept or topic, and you can recall it whenever you are stuck in an exam situation or sort of. So think so multidisciplinary
Right.
personally helps me in that way.
Right. So now I'll just bring it to maybe a year or two prior to where we are right now. Those people who
Okay.
say that either maths or biology should be the choice. Do you believe that someone should only take maths or only take biology?
No, I was a student of PCMB. I took both,
And why?
and why? Because well, primary reason being that during my 10th I had got good marks. I
Right.
scored above 90s in both the subjects, and I thought that during my 11th and 12th I will be it will be very easy to tackle these two subjects.
So is there any advantage in taking both of those subjects? At least what you're experiencing in your first year.
You just get a lot of knowledge, that's it. I mean, if you're doing something which is very career oriented, you should like if you're taking if your career have if your eligibility criteria in your career is like towards maths, then you should definitely take maths and not biology. But if your career eligibility criteria is towards biology, then take biology. Since during my 12th I have sorry since after my 10th I had not decided what I want to do, hence I took both the subjects, and now since I knew that I am more shifted towards the biology or the medical or life sciences, that's why I took microbiology.
Fair enough. Now that you've seen, like, your first semester is done, you have seen people around you study, learn. There's one observation that I make with my students as well, and a lot of people who have given these kind of interviews with me. Every person has a different style of writing notes, and
Okay.
people can't almost always understand each other's notes in the entirety. Have you experienced that?
Yes, it depends on what book or what specific PPT or what specific teacher's notes I'm using to make my own notes. So, for example, in microbiology, there is a book called Brock Book of Microbiology. It is primarily used for the first years, and the writings or the information given in that book, it's very difficult to understand. Like if there's a concept on gram positive bacteria, so that there's a whole different chapter in Brock. But when you take another book such as Pelzar, where the grammar is so easy to understand, so it's much more easier to make notes. And I personally do handwritten notes. I don't study from
Fair
typed
enough.
notes.
If you've come across this concept of learning styles, people could have either visual styles where people learn better when they have images or diagrams in front of them. Auditory, maybe when people are hearing certain things, or kinesthetic when they're doing some experiments of sorts. Have you experienced people having these kind of variety of styles when they are studying?
Batchmate in my college, a student of Mithibai only. She was the topper of her class, and she has a learning style based on, again, kinematic. So microbiology, there is a whole different class to on which is based on just doing the experiments. So if you're studying about gram-positive bacteria, you have to know what is gram staining. So I don't know about her, but as soon as she did gram staining and she understood that whole concept, she understood the whole concept of gram-positive bacteria side by side as well. So she knew, like, since gram-positive bacteria have a thicker cell wall, has a thicker content of peptidoglycan. So she was able to gather that whole theory when she was doing the experiment also. So I feel that the topper of our class has a kinematic style of study.
When you compare your notes to someone else's,
Hmm.
do you find similarities, differences? Do you are or like if say you were to rely on someone else's notes altogether to understand a concept, do you think you'll be able to learn that concept effectively?
No, I won't be able to learn it effectively because personally I use three books to make my notes, and rest other they probably use one or two books. Another difference is that people make diagrams. They practice diagrams while they are writing their notes. I don't do that. I don't wouldn't say photographic memory, but when I see a diagram, I first learn the labels. So I know at which point of location is like what a part of a specific bacteria. For example, I know where the peptidoglycan or which region of the peptidoglycan and where it is located. I know when I'm drawing the diagram, I know which part I have to label it as the peptidoglycan. Other people usually practice diagrams, I don't. And I feel similar. I very rarely find similarities when I'm looking at someone else's notes. Most of the times it's just different. People just use different sources, different references, and that's like really I actually don't prefer anyone else's notes.
That is how it usually is. So like you're not the only one who would say that because
Uh,
your notes are a reflection of your learning style and not everyone has the same combination. So
yeah,
not everyone will be all like visual or auditory or kinesthetic. It is usually everyone's learning style is a combination of the three or actually five that I've listed, like are listed as learning styles.
and yeah, I have some past trauma also. Like during my 12th, I was giving my maths exam, not the board, but just a normal exam. So I had used someone else's notes to learn all the formulas, and what it led to that, due to the exam pressure, I forgot not only my notes, but whatever formulas that he had also written. So it creates some sort of pressure. Like if you're doing it immediately, of course, it will create some pressure. Like last minute studies do not help at all. But if I was like, if I had a printout of his notes and I have been studying it for a very long time, then I would have scored some good marks in that exam. But since it was last minute, I failed.
So as a student, you would have seen, of course, you have seen your toppers, you see people who have failed. So, what inherent values does a quote unquote good student need to have to excel in
Time
school?
management,
Time management.
easily time management. Like I have to travel 4 hours, like going
Right,
and
right.
coming back. I have to travel 4 hours in a day to go back to my college and come to home. So I prioritize time management for to be the good student, to be the student who has like A grade, to be the student who has a above 9.5 CGPA. So I feel time management. I wouldn't say like discipline is not important. Discipline is also important. Commitment is also important. All the good words you have learned in or heard in all the podcasts, all the books, all the self-improvement books, all of those concepts are important. But I personally feel time management is just is like a whole another level of commitment. You need to prioritize your time to score, like like you have heard of that story, right? That 80-20 rule.
Hmm.
It's a whole concept based on time management. Like a person, he is studying for 10 to 11 hours, but he cannot remember one page. For whereas another student, he studies for 30 minutes and tops. He scores like 98 out of 100. So I feel time management is a whole another level, and I feel every student who is trying to be who's trying to go in his prime, he should prioritize time management.
Fair enough. So, what's your approach to time management? You mentioned 80-20. A lot of other students will do Pomodoro methods and everything. So,
Mm.
how would you go about managing your time?
How would I go? Like for example, when I'm in when I'm traveling, so I travel. I live in Mumbai, so I have to use the Mumbai locals quite a lot. So luckily, I do get. Luckily, Mumbai locals are known for not getting a seat, for not getting a seat, and luckily, I take those locals only that either start from the station itself, so I can get a seat. So whenever I get the seat, I take out my book and I just start studying. So or either I listen to a podcast, something which is worth my time. do a activity. If you're just traveling, for example, do a activity which is worth your time. Reading is the best thing which you can do. I traveled for 2 hours, and those 2 hours of reading has helped me a lot. I either read what's in my course, or I read a completely different topic. For example, I've been nowadays I've been reading some books on law. I've been reading some books on management. So it's not necessary to just learn the books which you're studying for your course only. Learn different topics. It will really help you to like strengthen your knowledge. Like prioritizing time management, I'm also quite lazy. I get exhausted pretty easily. Like after after coming home, I'm just like, I hit the gym and I just come back lying down on my bed and just sleep. So, and since I get a lot of time in my college because of the long breaks and all, I do study at that time, but I don't get a lot of self study time. So I cannot properly answer your question whether I do my activities which are worth, because according to my timetable, I should be studying after hitting the gym. But I don't, because I get so tired. So I just, shuffle that time with the breaks.
That's completely fair. So that itself is a good form of time management that you
Yeah.
can accommodate for what task you are not able to do somewhere else. So at the end of the day, you're still able to do that task throughout the day, isn't it?
Yes, I am able to do
So
that task.
that is very much time management. So regardless, your
But it gives me a like a it I disappoint myself only when I'm doing such activity, like I am shuffling my time. Like I was supposed to I had my deadline at 8 a.m., but I'm completing it tomorrow. So it's not good. I feel guilty.
of course, here is where you would want to think of it this way that your body itself has a certain amount of capacity, and now that you have been in your routine, you also most probably would have figured out when you are the most active versus when you're the least active. So prioritizing those tasks that require the most energy, that energy consuming tasks, should be done at a time where there is enough energy,
Hmm.
and tasks which are energy providing, say like going to the gym. I'm pretty sure you would mentally feel energized after you're back from the gym, isn't it?
Yes.
So those are energy giving tasks. That those tasks are best done when you yourself don't have enough energy in you, isn't it?
All right. Yeah. If you say it that way, then yes.
Then it makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So personally, that's how I would usually go about time management. I divide most of my tasks into energy consuming and or energy giving, and I schedule that according to where how much energy I personally have. So I make the most of whatever time I have. As you said, value for time.
Hmm.
So now I bring it to something which is more subjective towards you in general.
Hmm.
I ask this question to everyone who sat for this an interview. How do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What are you most excited for? What are you a little bit afraid of? In general, how do you see yourself?
How do I see myself in 5 years? Quite subjective, I must say, me. The next 5 years, there are like two sides, one good side and one bad side. The bad side would of course be my downfall, which I would definitely not want. And the good side being that I have graduated. I'm doing a job that earns me a quite that
Reasonable amount.
reasonable amount. Not exceeding expectations, because personally I'm doing a course in which it's very rare to get a good annual package. So I see myself in the next 5 years doing keeping my life in order. Graduating definitely. I'm not dropping college. I'm not dropping out. I graduate. I have a good body. Yeah, I have a strong, strong both physical and mental strength. Then what else can I achieve in the next 5 years? And I have a good environment around me.
Another kind of question that I always ask everyone.
Hmm.
It gives a good idea of like the person, what kind of a person everyone is. Like, with all of the experiences that you have gained in your life till
Hmm.
now, what would be one word of advice you'd give to your 10-year-old self?
To my 10-year-old
Yes.
self, be a step ahead of everyone. Be a step ahead of everyone. Like, if teacher is going to teach you tomorrow fractions, learn fractions at home itself before going to school. If you have a deadline tomorrow, try to finish the work as soon as it was given. If you have a project which has to be presented on February, finish the project in December itself. Free yourself from all the backlogs. Be a step ahead of everyone. That's
That
the
is very powerful.
that is the advice which I would give to my 10-year-old self. Like it might sound very like hyped and all, but no, it's just to be a step ahead of everyone.
Correct. Because yeah,
Selfish, boasting attitude. No, it's just the truth.
right. So with all the things you've seen me do with LC, with interacting with a lot of people, and since you have been a student, you've seen how we have grown. Like time passes by so fast. I've been teaching for the past 5 years, now going into six. LC has been functioning for the past 4 years. Now we'll have our fifth anniversary coming soon.
Hmm.
What would be your advice or suggestion that I should implement within LC for all students, past, present, and future?
You want my opinion on this?
Opinion, advice, suggestion, anything,
Regarding LC?
or even in general regarding what I do for students.
Like when I was in LC, we were, of course, we were a very small batch, and hence, like all of my doubts which I had, you were able to solve it, even though it took a lot of time. So I think when you have a big batch of students, around 50 to 60 students in one batch, which I hope happens pretty soon. So try to keep a doubt solving session, because yeah, it sounds very obvious ki every coaching model, every plan, every model, every coaching institute might have this. But if you ask a student's point of if you ask from a student point of view, it's not the that doubt solving is session is not completely satisfied. It's not a very satisfying session for the student. Like उसके बाद भी doubts रहेंगे.
Right.
So in LC, if you when you have a big batch of students in future, try to have a doubt solving session.